My name's Charlie Clouser. Well, I'd known Cliff since I was in high school with him, and we had a band together. And some years later, must have been almost 10 years later, when I moved to Los Angeles, we looked each other up and wound up having our studios in the same building together. After some years in Nine Inch Nails and touring, I came back to Los Angeles and been doing a bunch of scoring for TV and films, and was doing a show called Las Vegas, and we'd occasionally have these real jazz experiment episodes. There was one that we had to go back in, the TV show went back in time to the 1950s, and it had to be all legitimate big band jazz. And of course, I had no skills in that department, so my first call was Cliff. We did almost 30 cues in 4 days, and Cliff was just madly laying down these crazy jazz licks, and it saved my ass that time. In addition to that Las Vegas show, I think there was some other occasions on the TV show Numbers. I just needed someone to come in with that I could say, throw down a jazz reference, and he could immediately get it and lay it down. And again, it was, we had 4 hours to do this thing, and ring, ring, Cliff came up and just handled business as usual. Cliff came from a background of, like I did, of loving classic rock and all that, and then sort of through his college years, I know he got a much more sophisticated musical education at Berkeley and really was able to broaden his horizons. You can kind of call on him to, if I need anything from if I needed to do a legit sounding John Paul Jones Wurlitzer part or something like that, same kind of thing. It's like his knowledge of the various styles going all the way back to, from jazz all the way up through the rock styles is pretty comprehensive. Over the years, I've watched Cliff kind of specialize in different areas. For a while, he was specializing in being a player. For a while, he was a keyboard player. For a while, he was specializing in being a programmer. And as his interests have changed over the years, and he's kind of developed his skills in each of these areas, he's become really well-rounded. He's able to zoom back and look at the whole sound of a whole production, and do whatever's right to make the thing happen. Well, it was like Cliff, I was the drummer in the band and Cliff was the keyboard player, and somehow he wound up with this Sequential Circuits Pro 1, which none of us really knew how to use in those days. Somehow I managed to get it out from under him for the summer. And it was a long summer, but I had a great time with that. And I started studying electronic music. Well, we can see what happened with that. I've known Cliff for 30-some years. And there's, as you go through life, there's few friends that you wind up having straight through from high school through college, and you all go different ways, you wind up in different cities. Cliff is one of the few people that I know who's remained the same kind of positive, optimistic, and like spiritually just forward-looking, optimistic guy. Someone I've known for most of my life, and I'm sure I'll know him for all of my life.